GM, thank you everyone. Welcome to today's Web3 Marketing Mastermind session on leveraging Web3 native tools for community growth. I'm very excited to present Josh Simenhoff today. He's the head of community at Chainlink Labs. My name is Christina Moscoso. I'm one of the ecosystem marketing managers here at Chainlink Labs as well. So Josh, we like to start these sessions just learning more about the speaker. So if you could just give us your origin story, who are you? How did you end up where you are now?
Who am I? My name's Josh. I'm the head of community here at Chainlink Labs. I've always been a bit of a nerd. I was online at 4. I built my first computer when I was 12, and I've always been, forward facing, looking into next generation technology and, how to utilize that to change people's lives. Out of college, I had no idea what to do. So I went into the craziest industry that I could think of at the time, which was 3D printing. I worked at MakerBot for a few years in customer support. And while there, I definitely caught the community bug. Part of my role was to organize meetups to explain how to use 3D printers, to work with hackers and that sort of thing. And in hindsight, it's all kind of inevitable that I ended up here at Chainlink Labs as head of community. So after 3D printing, I moved to the legendary Tom's Hardware online magazine. So if you haven't heard of Tom's Hardware before, they're a legendary brand in the computer hardware space. So I worked every day on the forums and in the comments section, making sure that it was all family friendly, and making sure that people had the advice and instructions they needed to overclock their computers to the max, to purchase the best graphics card for their rig, and to make sure that they were getting the most frames per second that they could get out of their computer. If all of that didn't make any sense to you, that's okay. Web3 barely makes any sense to anyone else nowadays. I think, that'll change as time goes on. But yeah, I guess at Tom's Hardware, that's where I first learned about Bitcoin. All the graphics cards were getting bought up and used to mine Bitcoin and Ethereum. I actually ended up writing an article comparing Ethereum to Bitcoin. It was called Ethereum, the new cryptocurrency king. Super cringe, I know, but I was just getting started, just trying to break into writing, and we didn't really know much back then about Web3 and crypto technology, so that was really cool. And then after a while, this company called Future Publishing, they're based in the UK. They bought Tom's Hardware. And so suddenly I was working for Future, which was really cool because Future owns a lot of amazing magazine brands. So brands like Guitar World, Guns Monthly, Marie Claire, Wallpaper Magazine, anything that's a hobby, Future has a magazine for it. And one of those magazines was PC Gamer Magazine. That was a lot of fun working with gamers. Being super online, getting familiar with Discord, all that kind of good stuff. And so I kind of climbed the ranks while at Future. I became the global director of community there, launched forums for PC Gamer Magazine, launched their Discord, and generally just came up with the total global policy that we had in place for all of the communities at Future, which was hundreds of communities. I guess my work there caught the attention of Chainlink Labs because eventually they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to interview. It was very serendipitous because I just started getting into DeFi and sort of understanding how valuable owning your assets are, owning your digital property is, and this idea of composability, of being able to transfer your data from one platform to another, that all really started interesting me. And yeah, I was watching Sergey on YouTube, and then I got a call from Carrie, and I guess the rest is history. I've been here ever since.
I
So that's kind of my origin story. Yeah.
I
Sorry.
appreciate you going that deep into your origin story, because I just like talking to people after starting these sessions, just like less than a year ago, I feel like really putting them out there. I feel like this is one of their favorite parts, is just like hearing how people got to where they are. And I also like that you called it inevitable, because I feel like when I think back on mine, it also feels inevitable. Like literally going back to like my obsession with LiveJournal, and like how I was already like a community moderator and LiveJournal, and how that ended up leading me to like community manage at Salesforce. Like just all feels like it kind of all fell into place, and it was all through just following my curiosity, you know?
Yeah, that's sort of what's driven me throughout all these years. Wow, I really sound old now. But yeah, throughout my career, it's just like, I just follow the things that I'm interested in, whether it's 3D printing, computer hardware, video games, and crypto. And I think, even if what you're doing right now, it doesn't seem to really make sense, it's not exactly what you're doing, try to figure out what interests you in that field. And then you can apply that to some future role where you will have that opportunity to really stretch your stuff. So I think enough about me, Christina. I'm sure everyone's like bored to death now, and they want to hear more about Web3 native tools and why they're super cool when it comes to building communities today.
Yes, let's do it. I'm psyched.
Okay, cool. So Web3 is really exciting because it's the first time that community is the center of everything. Community has become like a critical focal point for all marketing strategies for almost all Web3 projects. So it's really lucky that I have this experience working in community management. When I first started out, it was kind of seen as a joke, but now it's like taken very seriously, and it's really cool to see that evolution. And Web3 is enabling community building in really novel ways that I don't think enough people are utilizing yet. So I hope after this presentation, you will think about how I can utilize Web3 native tools when I'm building my own community. So first, I'm sure there's lots of EDM fans out there. This community came up, the shuffling community came up in the research for this deck. I mean, look at this guy go. He's amazing. And I like to think that this guy is the signal in the noise. He's showing what the future of community building is. Now, I'm not a shuffler myself, and to be quite honest, I'm not even like a huge EDM fan, but there is a huge overlap between the Web3 community and the shuffling community. And what's really interesting is that the shuffling community is utilizing Web3 tools to grow globally, to spread their love of dance globally. And I love that. I love niche communities. And I think this is really exciting to see this community that's outside of Web3 using blockchains, using tokens to grow. So we'll dive into that a bit, into the specifics of that. But first, let's have a short little history lesson. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen a slide like this before, or a graphic, so I'm not going to spend too much time here, but I do want to make a point about what makes Web3 so special. In the beginning, there was Web 1. Web 1 is known as the read-only era for the internet. This era was defined by news groups, email, really basic HTML browsing, and mostly users were consuming media. They were just reading it. They weren't like actively writing or contributing to this media. Then came Web 2, which introduced this write functionality. So now in Web 2, users could create their own content, user-generated content, and add that content to social media platforms. Obviously, this is the rise of Facebook, Google, YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. This was also the start of these gigantic platforms that actually utilize APIs together to create unique product experiences. So like the most well-known example of this is Uber. Most people don't know this, but Uber is actually like a collection of APIs that they use together to provide, to connect riders to drivers, to connect hungry people to delivery services. And Uber actually doesn't really create any of these APIs in-house. A lot of it is, I'm not really sure the business model there, but a lot of it is used from other companies, external companies. So altogether, the business model driving this read-write experience is based on attention. So it's like the number of users you have on your platform and if they're viewing the thing or if they're liking the thing. But I think what's really cool about Web3 is it introduces new functionality that gives the user the opportunity to own their content, to own the protocol or own the network. And this has created community-driven experiences that are oftentimes decentralized, i.e. global, and also open source. To me, this is really cool, and it's taking all the lessons we've learned from Web 2 and expanding on them, because what it's doing is it's driving people to actually actively participate. I think that's the revolutionary aspect of Web 3. So like if Web 2 was an intention economy, Web 3 is a participation economy. So that's again why community is like always the focus of all these Web3 projects, why it's so important, why marketing is this like never-ending cycle of enabling the community, because you want to activate them, you want to get them to participate in your platform, in your protocol, or just to become a user of your DApp. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, I kind of hinted at this at the end of the last slide, but community is the center of growth for many Web3 projects. Community is becoming the expectation. In the past, community was maybe a value add or a way to provide support to your customers when you didn't really have the resources to have a customer service team. But nowadays, with Gen Z being both digital and Web3 native, community is going to become the expectation and not the rule. Sorry, it's going to become the expectation, not a value add. What's really cool is that Web3 utilizes community programs to create really rich experiences driven by incentives and rewards that activate and enable your community to participate, to promote your project, to provide support. So you're actually giving the people in your community real world rewards. This hasn't really happened in the past. You know, maybe you'd get some digital flair, maybe you get a t-shirt. But I think what's cool about Web3 is if you participate in a Web3 project, you usually are an owner of that project. Or maybe you own the data that you're creating on that project. That data is composable. You can take that to the next big thing that you want to work on. And ultimately for marketers, I think what community does is it allows the marketer to have a greater understanding of who their audience is, their identity, what drives them, what's going to make them participate, how you can activate and enable them. And it also allows the community member to gain reputation that they can take from one platform to another. So here's a few examples of what I'm talking about. So this is a diagram that I created when I was drafting a user flow for how to build the developer community at Chainlink Labs. So we're starting with a student who simply Googles smart contract developer bootcamp because they want to learn how to build smart contracts. That brings them to our on-demand bootcamp video. They watch the video, and simply by providing their wallet address, they now have a new role on our Discord. So this is a much greater incentivization scheme than simply, asking for their emails, sending them a newsletter that ends up in their spam folder or something, and generally just kind of being annoying, because that's kind of like what marketing is today. I think it's just kind of an annoyance. I think Web3 tools and tactics allow marketing to actually be rewarding and valuable. So after they get the role, this gives them access to developer workshops. Ideally, they're going to want to follow our Twitter to learn about where those workshops may be. Ideally, they're going to have a great time at the workshop, and they're going to share this positive feedback on Twitter. And then after doing that, they immediately get another reward. They get access to exclusive merch, or maybe they get a discount to SmartCon. All the while, they're becoming an active participant in the Chainlink community. They're providing helpful answers on Discord. This will give them credits or discounts to really valuable services like Infura, so that they can build the next great Web3 application. So what I love about this flow is, one, anyone can participate in this. They don't really, with Chainlink content, because we actually do translate our content into multiple languages, they don't even have to be an English speaker. So literally, like, anyone in the world can participate in this program, and suddenly, if they do a good job, they're rewarded with access to our talent network. Maybe we'll put their project in front of a VC and they can get funding that way. This is a lot better than getting karma on Reddit for having a cool answer. And again, I really like it because it's globally inclusive, it's automated, and it's pretty seamless. I'll look at the chat if I'm missing anything. Okay, cool. I will answer your question later, Zai. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so I was talking about shuffling in the beginning. This is where I found out about shuffling. I think this is a really easy way to understand why Web3 experiences are so powerful. And it also is a good example of how we can bridge that gap from Web 2 to Web 3 in an easy way. So really, I broke it down into 3 steps. An influencer on my timeline retweeted this announcement by the Rave 3 project. I was intrigued, I clicked the link, and then all of a sudden, I'm activated, right? If I want to be part of this project, I need to share them my Twitter account. I need to tweet about it. I need to basically contribute to the community. That's pretty revolutionary, that from step 1, people are already promoting your project and you haven't even given them anything. I think this is a good example of why Web3 marketing tools are so powerful. And we're going to see this get adopted in mass over the next 5 to 10 years by mainstream companies. It's just too good, and it makes people really interested. It gives them value right off the bat. They're already added to a network of friends just by, following through this simple 6-step process. It's pretty cool. So where are we headed? Well, the way I see it, I think Web3 tools, for better or for worse, are going to financialize everything. All of our interactions online, a lot of our offline interactions too, will be financialized. Our relationships will be monetized, for better or for worse. I'm not really going to go into the ethics of that, but it is interesting to think about that, communities are going to be more and more of a focal point of not just marketing activities, but sort of how you navigate through life. This screenshot was taken from Stani Kulachov's Twitter account. He's a co-founder of Aave and Lens. And here he's giving an example of how revenue share works on, I believe it's Lens. It might be one of the apps that's built on Lens. I'm sorry. I didn't look too deep into it. But anyways, so he took a picture of his friends, these two guys here underneath Stani, and he monetized the photo. And I think, you know, this is going to be really common, and it's going to make essentially all of us participants in this really massive creator economy, which is good because right now we create all this content, we spend all this time online, and we don't really get anything out of it. In fact, we're sold, and our data is just distributed to really anyone who wants to get it. I think we should get more value out of our participation in these networks. And that, to me, is what makes Web3 native tools so exciting. So I'm going to close with this. These are some of the tools that people use today to enable their communities using Web3. I'm a big fan of Guild and POAP. I try to use POAPs at all of our events, online or in person. And Guild's created a really fun experience to reward users on our Discord based on their activity offline, on-chain, what have you. We already talked about Lens, Galaxies, another achievement and reward system similar to Guild. Zeely, I think, is commonly used to encourage airdrops. If you do know of any other Web3 native tools, definitely post them in the chat. I'm really interested to learn more. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for your time. I'm happy to answer some questions now.
Thanks, Josh. And I did see some come in. Let's go ahead and start with yours. What are the top 3 communities, or maybe just top 3 that you kind of like look at, maybe get inspiration from in the Web3 space?
Chainlink, and Chainlink. Maybe the Toads NFT community, since Alex is on the call. But yeah, I think the Chainlink community is super strong. You know, we have the best volunteer community. I mean, a lot of the people on this call, what's up, Jordan? You know, are in our volunteer community. They're helping spread the word about Chainlink oracles. Oh, what's up, Justice? Yeah, good. So many friends are in the community here. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, I don't think anyone else provides the value that our community does. I mean, like, we're working with universities all around the world to educate people about Chainlink oracles. Now, there's some projects, I'm not going to name names, there's some projects that say they do that, but I've seen their content. It's not as good as our content. You're not actually like building a smart contract application over a 3-week period with the other like projects content. So yeah, I guess maybe I am flexing a little bit, but I'm really proud of the work we do, and I'm really proud of everyone who's in the Chainlink community. You know, without you guys, we would literally be nothing.
I love that in the chat right now, Tippy wrote, "Great presentation, Josh. One time you sent me an extra t-shirt and socks to give to the students that I'm teaching. It made a huge difference and meant a lot." It's those little things, you know?
Exactly. Those little things for sure.
I want to ask a question too about, and you provided some examples, but as far as like the benefits of using Web3 native tools over traditional social media platforms, can you give, obviously it's about like what we can give back, right? There's like that give and take. And if you could provide some examples of like effective reward mechanisms that you've used, or maybe others that you've seen, maybe we haven't tried in our community, but I feel like I'm pretty interested in that.
You know, basically you just want to make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze, that what you're asking your community members to do is worth their time. They're giving up their time. Time is so precious in this day and age. Literally, there's business models entirely based on time. Like, let's get away from that. And so, definitely you want to make sure that if they're providing the time, if they're providing their expertise, their knowledge, their blood, sweat, and tears, you want to reward them. And I always try to make sure that the people in our community are getting rewards that are, worth their time. Does that answer your question, Christina?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, obviously, if you have like any other specific, I mean, I think you mentioned some already, like, in our case, we might offer like SmartCon discounts, I think was one of the ones that you said. So
yeah, I mean, for participating in our community, usually, you get a lot of fun. You get access to a network. You get access to a talent network. We try to help you get a job if you need one. We give you skills. We connect you with professors at universities. We allow you to lead classes building a smart contract application.
now
Really,
you're
like,
answering my question.
like we also give like the t-shirts and stuff, because that's fun, I guess. But we really do try to go beyond that for the people that go above and beyond for us. So I think, if you're building a small community, it's like, how can I create the best experience using rewards? Maybe that's like taking them out to dinner. Maybe that's providing them an Amazon gift card for tuning in and learning a little bit about your products in the hopes that they're going to tweet about it. I think they can be simple things. Ideally, with Web3 tools, that whole reward system and process has become completely seamless and entirely digital, but we're not quite there yet.
That's a great point. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Like, we could literally put this into a smart contract and the rewards can just
Yeah,
dished out.
like, let's put everything on chain, like that'll be a very fun and interesting world for sure.
Somebody has to be working on that already. If put it in the
I think a few people are.
we still have time for more questions. We usually block this off till 45. So if there is anything else, oh, I saw one come in now. Tippy.
Yeah, Alex asked a really good question.
Oh, okay. Let's do Alex and then Tippy.
Okay, cool. So what do I want to see most from the community moving forward? Honestly, I'm so grateful to everyone in the community. You guys crush it every day. We definitely have the strongest community. I think that's obvious from how long people have been in our community. A lot of communities, the members, they come and go based on the token price, but you guys, you stick around with us through thick and through thin, and that's amazing. And I think that goes to show, yeah, just like how much value that we try to provide for you guys. So what do I want to see most from the community moving forward? Awesome, positive vibes spread online, because the world needs a lot more of that every day. Alex, you do a great job of that for sure. And lots of the other community managers and longtime people on this call. Also, thanks to Roth, Javier, Ali, Joseph. Yeah, awesome to see you too. And I think really just sort of breaking down this amazing technology that we have, Chainlink oracles, breaking that down into simple terms that can get everyone pumped and excited to join our community.
Yeah, we do have a few more, and I feel like we have the time. So let's go with Tippy's question next. What advice do you have for a team that's just starting out to build our community? We did a project in the last Chainlink hackathon and have been building slowly since then and have a really solid prototype almost ready for launch. We know community is key, but don't know exactly how to start. They are thinking of Guild, by the way. So any tips?
Yeah, building a community from scratch is like one of the hardest things you can do. Going from 0 to 10,000 is a lot harder than going from 10,000 to 100,000. So
10K like that first milestone for everyone?
Yeah, like 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. Those are like some good starting milestones. And then, yeah, like 10,000 to 100,000 is like kind of the next big gap. And then you go like 100,000 to a million, like the gaps get bigger and bigger and bigger between those milestones. So what can you do? I think it's really identifying people that are super passionate about your project, people that love what you do and are committed to seeing you succeed. Those are going to be your core contributors, and you want to treat them like they're kings because they're going to get you from 0 to 10,000. And then again, it's like identifying those incentives, those rewards. How are you going to provide value to them? What's the long-term goal for these core contributors, and really just nurturing them and making sure that they're having a good time on your community and providing others a good time as well.
One of the things that you mentioned earlier, this is for Puck's question, was, how we have been able to get people from our community, like jobs here at Chainlink Labs even. And the question is, what non-computer programming employment opportunities can folks educate themselves about to secure a spot with the Chainlink team? And I do feel like this is relevant because so much of like participation in community in Web3 can have benefits, including employment.
Yeah, a lot of the community team came straight from the community. They were part of the advocates program, and they displayed dedication to the community. They hosted events, and we needed someone in a certain region, and we hired them straight from the community. So non-computer programming, I think writing skills, maybe that's technical writing, content writing, being able to explain complex ideas for a mass audience, that's going to always be valuable to any kind of marketing operation. Event hosting experience, being able to just sort of provide value wherever is needed in the community, identifying that and like inserting yourself, that will get you far in any kind of Web3 project.
I need to have one of these, like, just focused on our community advocates. I've been saying that all this time, like I'm putting it on the calendar. And I DM'd Alex about it. Or I don't think I even DM'd it. I think I just like put it out there for everyone to see. But anyway, Joseph, you asked, how will Web3 communities benefit from Web3 social media platforms? I'm interested in this too, especially with like Lens and like how hot it is right now. Yeah, what's your take, Josh?
Yes, so I think it just goes back to what I was saying about providing really rich and valuable experiences. So the Web3 communities are going to benefit because they're going to create these rich experiences that people are going to need to participate in. And that's going to make your community stronger and more vibrant and more fun to be in. So ultimately, I think when these Web3 tools develop a bit more and they're more widespread, they're easier to use, like, I just think that the world's going to be a more fun and inclusive place. I know that sounds really corny, but like seriously, like I think, imagine if we settled our differences with an online video game that like had meaning and value versus like actually killing each other. Like, I don't know. That's a step up in my opinion.
It honestly kind of is already, it's not that crazy. And then
I think, things are getting better. It's just hard to see it when you're like in the thick of it.
when you're on Twitter, when you're on crypto Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Let me scan. Let me see if there's anything else, and then maybe we'll go ahead and close out. Let's see. We do have one from Reza. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, but Josh, how do you track the quality or quantity of Chainlink's developers in a meaningful way in your community?
So there's a couple ways you can do that. We do have like a data analytics team that tracks on-chain activity, and it shows the number of dApps that are using Chainlink oracles and lots of other information that I'm not really privy to. But for me, what I like to track are pull requests from our GitHub and the number of answers that are posted to Stack Overflow, the number of questions that are posted in our Discord. If people are active in your your developer platform. So that's mainly like Stack Overflow, GitHub, Discord. That means that you have a very quality and quantitatively expedient developer community that's really active and engaged. So that's all a good thing. We use like a variety of platforms to track this activity. I don't really want to name drop them. So, but you can do your own research and find some of those platforms online on Google.
I think we have time for one more and then we'll close it out. And I'll just give you the closeout question that I always give so you can answer it right after. But if you could share what you're most excited about in the next year in Web3, and it could be personal or professional, whatever you want. But we do have one more question from Chand. Can you share some examples of how the Web3 community has influenced the direction or decisions of Chainlink or the ecosystem?
We're always listening to our community. I think if you're part of the Chainlink community, you know that. So we definitely want to deliver on their demands and their needs. You know, I think they were highly influential in how we rolled out Chainlink staking, which is one of our flagship products. They're very influential in how we communicate. They drive our marketing strategy and decision-making process. We're always talking about you guys, and you're always top of mind as well. So it's really hard to give like exact specific examples other than to say like, you drive our marketing and business strategy in a fundamental way.
We have meetings and you are mentioned.
Yeah, you're all mentioned, not by name, but the community is.
Yeah. So what are you excited about, Josh?
Oh man, I am so excited for SmartCon 2023. I better see all of you there. It's going to be a week of fun and excitement in Barcelona. The conference is like 2 days, and that's going to be really interesting to see, you know, what's next for our industry. But then there's going to be a week of events. I can't really get into the specifics. I'm sure there's going to be lots of parties, lots of satellite events, lots of interesting speakers. I'm sure Sergey is going to speak, Ari. So stay tuned for that. But no speakers have been announced yet. You'll just have to follow our Twitter.
Okay, vamos. That's a great way to end this session. I know we did get a few more questions. I don't think we'll have time to answer all of them, but this has been such a great session. Josh, thank you for agreeing to do this. Yeah, if you guys—
Are you kidding? This was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me, Christina. I love this kind of thing, and I love connecting with all of you in the community. If I didn't answer your question, just DM me on Twitter. My DMs are open.
Yes, exactly. I took so many notes. Can't wait to put up some sort of recap on Twitter later. Look out for the video. It usually takes our team about a week to like make sure we edit it just right and put it out to you guys, but that'll be out there. And I'll just put in the link one more time for our next session. If I could find it, it's somewhere in this chat, but you guys wrote in a lot today. Okay, May 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern time, connecting universities to Web3. We're gonna have some great speakers from universities globally that we've been working with to get that Web3 message out there. So make sure to sign up for that and fill out the survey. We really do read everything that is submitted in the survey, and it's given us ideas for future sessions. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Chuhan. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.